Yeah, fingers crossed. What do you want? On the presentation, on the wall. Did you release?
When's the game coming out?
Da se oslobodite malo...
Duhom. Ti si pustio struku?
Znaš kako smo krenuli? Krenuli smo 3 ili smo 12. Mislim da nas neki snijeg, kiša gore, kroz ovo zakon.
Vrh.
Autoputem. Da. Ali ne mogu da bila je prvo kiša, pa snijeg, pa garage, pa kiša.
Samo ćeš da mi sačuvaš ovu stolicu ovdje da mi niko ne sedi.
Pa idemo na more. I onda kad smo ušli tamo,
Možeš da snimaš u isto vrijeme? A? Da snimaš u isto vrijeme? Pa, broadcastu. Ali da li ga se i snimaš? Pa, bit će na YouTube. Aha, znači bit će sačuvan. Da. Stevo, sedi ovdje. Nemoj tu nego ovdje. Bane, što je bila pauza, sačekat ćemo još jedno 5 minuta. Da, što je bila pauza.
We're going to delay just a few more minutes to better up the guys that are drinking coffee at the terrace because there's beautiful weather out there. Please don't leave because of it. So we'll start in like 3, 4, 5 minutes. 5 minutes maximum. Don't leave.
Ja ću oznam da se spavam u tuđim strani. Kulturu. To zadnja prostitutka. Ali barem 5 zvijezda. S pogledom.
Stani u prostitutku. S 5 zvezdica.
Jedno i drugo. Dobro, baš je interesantna stvar. Where are you? I'm looking for you. What's your name? You look. I was network. I need a network. Come on.
He's managing the event.
Yeah, really?
It's not easy to do.
Yeah, because take studio, but it's a real rap.
Dude, real man.
The hype is real.
You don't look worried at all.
No, I'm not.
No pressure, no pressure.
You'll be great.
And it's been filmed.
Everybody's watching.
Ne sme da se izleži. To. Prethodno.
No, I told you, but I didn't see it. Can you actually check the is there anybody there? Hopefully there is. Surprise. Then there'll be somebody there. Все, можете помогать. It's time. You can do it. No pressure. Huh? Pass me o carro.
Hello everybody. I know that it's nice weather outside, but I'm feeling a little bit more comfortable like this. I'm not that nervous as I was expecting to be. Anyway, my name is Nikola. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Zero Gravity. Before I start, I would like to thank people and Damir for inviting us here. We are about to reveal our big ambitions and the first project that we have. And just before we start with the presentation, I would like to say a few things about the company. Basically, the company started as a few guys playing online multiplayer survival games mostly, and it continues to be like that for a couple of years until we finally met in real life. And most of the guys are always in the industry, working for some other big studios, outsourcing and stuff like that. And then Marco and I met, and he showed me the concept. And yes, there is also one more important thing that actually combined everything and lead to this moment. And this is that besides the survival games and multiplayer games that we just really like to play, spend nights and nights playing them, we are also sci-fi fans, hardcore sci-fi fans. So Marco and I met. We started talking about that something is missing, and that what was missing was a space survival game that is based on real physics and real stuff. So it started like a small group of people, but then in the summer of 2015, we started a company, Zero Gravity, and this is where everything started actually. So the company was founded in August last year, and from that time we've been working very hard, and we'll show you what we have so far. Bear in mind it's still in working progress, but I think that we have something to show. So of course here with me is my very good friend and a colleague, a co-founder of the company, and it's creative director. So welcome Marco, and let's start.
Hi everyone, I don't want to bore you with this guy. We just want to show you the trailer first for the game we're making, and then we'll talk more about the game. called Galleon. It's a multiplayer survival game set in space. It is played from the first-person perspective, and what that means is that whether you're in your ship or a station or floating around in space, you're always controlling your own character. It is set in a solar system-sized map, so it's a huge map. And one of the biggest features we have in the game is the use of real Newtonian physics and orbital mechanics. And that means that every moon, for example, orbits a planet, and every planet orbits a star. And even you, in your ship, are also orbiting one celestial body. And therefore, for example, if you stay in the game long enough doing nothing, you're actually going to end up at a different place because everything is constantly moving. And we have means of achieving different gameplay styles by using that mechanics. So because it's a survival game, in order to survive, you need to manage your ship, actually micromanage your ship, station and resources. You're in constant need of some resources. For example, you need air to breathe, oxygen to breathe actually. And therefore you need your life support system to work in a ship or a station or in your spacesuit. For your life support to work, you need to have power, and for the power you need to have fuel for your generator and things like that. So we wanted to make the interaction in the game as immersive as possible. For example, if you want to move your ship, you're not moving your ship by just pressing controls. You're controlling your character. You need to walk to the bridge of the ship, sit on the cockpit chair, and take the controls into your own hands. If you want to fix the solar panels on your orbital station, you need to suit up, leave the airlock, and use the jetpack to maneuver to get to the solar panels and fix them. Also, because it's a multiplayer game, the interaction between players are. We wanted to make it unrestrained because so there are no safe zones, there are no any limitations that you can do as a player. You have to you have to communicate with other players to actually do stuff that you want. Also, the resource gathering in our game is defined as in a few ways, and it's also the thing that we want to make as immersive as possible. For example, the resources that you can gather are, for example, gases, or you can mine asteroids. To get the gases, you have to harvest the atmosphere of a planet or a gas giant. For example, if you want, you can mine asteroids by actually landing on the asteroid and mine them using your own hands or drills and things like that. Or you can actually loot resources and steal them from other players. So the combat mechanics in the game is defined because it's a first-person game, and you can find weapons. The close quarter combat is the part where you shoot with other people inside your ship or station or whatever, or in space when you're floating around, or if you want, you can board another ship and take the battle inside the ship. But also you can Also, you can have ship-to-ship battles, which is defined in a way that you get to a turret or a weapon station and you know shoot the other ship in that way. Usually the combat is slow-paced because you have to actually run to your battle stations to actually do any damage to the other players.
Okay, so story. So I would like to say a little bit about the story. Usually, basically in multiplayer games, especially in survival games, the story is not that relevant because players go around, they hang out with other people, killing them, or hanging out with them. We wanted to make a little bit different in that way that in our game, story does matter. So the story can generate basically new features inside of the game, so you don't have to follow. The story of the games go that, and we have a very, very good developed story of how the colonists ended up in that faraway distant solar system. So they are put. We try to, say that. Let's say that we as a species survive on this planet for the next 200 years, and with the technology that we will maybe uncover, that we managed to colonize the other distant star or solar system. And there was a big endeavor of doing that. And the idea was, of course, that when you come there, you wake up and you wake up in new paradise. You are waking up far more in time than it was supposed to happen. And you are waking up and everything basically went to hell. You don't know what happened. And when you wake up from your cryo chamber, maybe that's all that matters. You just start playing your game. Or maybe you can discover what actually happened. And discovering that can lead to stuff that you can find, like so maybe some log that will lead you to some place, that place will maybe lead you somewhere, maybe you will find a ship there or some wreck or whatever. So if people want to do that, we are trying to put that and implement in the game so it will be possible. So revealing the story will actually give you additional gameplay inside of the game, of course, if this is your style of playing. So this is the one thing. And I don't know, maybe we can go directly for the game footage video we would like to show you from the engine itself from the game. I don't know, something else. Yeah, this is also one thing that we are in the early access. The reason for that is, of course, there are a lot of features that are basically experimental in this kind of approach. And we would really like, if we form a community, of course, to have a feedback and to see how we will go with the game, of course. Mechanics and everything is already fixed. As Marco explained you, we have full orbital mechanics working inside of the game. This is something that is already being worked. It's working in the game. We will show you that in the game footage that we have. Moving your ships, gathering resources and stuff like that. We would like to have a feedback so so that the game actually be playable. It's a lot of experimental stuff that we are trying to implement. We will of course release. We will release the game on Steam, and we plan to do that as an early access in Q4 this year. So hopefully by the end of the year we will have the early access, and I'll have the game on Steam ready to be played. So I think we will go now with the video. So we would like to show now a short video that was taken from the game itself. Maybe you can explain just a little bit before I press the button.
First of all, bear in mind that this is in the pre-alpha stage still, but the basic concept is that there's a crew of 4 people on the ship, and their goal is to reach the orbital station and gather some stuff from that station and bring them back to the ship. That's about the basic concept.
I like it, of course. So we have here a player waking up from his cryo chamber. Basically, this is how we start the game. The cryo chamber can be placed in a station, in a ship, wherever.
So
So the crew is separated into two teams. So one of them is going to the airlock, and the other team is going to the bridge to control the ship.
The ship is actually placed in a gas giant. We call it Deptir, and it's in high orbit of that planet. And of course, as Marco explained, everything is moving basically. We're in orbit, the planet is in orbit of the sun, so everything is actually moving on a server.
There we see the station, and the pilot is trying to reach it before, just to reach it to get the guys from the airlock so they can go and see what's there. These are the guys that are suiting up. They're putting on their pressurized suits, helmets, and jetpacks.
Basically, the start point of the game will be in a very similar station like this. You're going to wake up in the station in the cryo chamber, and for the beginning, you will have a small shuttle that is docked to your station for your first, let's say, space endeavor or first space voyage. Of course, in order to fly the shuttle, you will need the resources. You will have the resources for the couple of hours, but in order to get the shuttle moving, more than those few hours, you will need to get the resources.
So they're entering the airlock, and they have to depressurize the airlock to actually get out and not be thrown out.
This is the transition from the 1G to 0G environment, or airlocks are mostly in 0G environment. So life support system on the ship is working, and life support system on your suit is also working. So if you don't have your helmet and you depressurize the chamber, you will be dead.
The idea is to have the game completely seamless, so the transition from the ship to space and from space to any other ship or a station is completely seamless. You'll see that in a minute. So right now the station, the ship, and both of the players are actually orbiting around the gas giant, and in a minute the sun will set behind the planet, so it will be dark, so they're trying to deploy the solar panels to get the power inside the station before that happens. So one of the players entered the airlock of the station, and he's gonna repressurize the airlock so he can move further down the station.
Also, what you cannot hear here is, of course, sound. Sorry about that. You can check it later at our booth. But we are working on real sound physics. So if there is a vacuum, there's no sound at all. It's not like in other games. So and the difference in pressure will also influence the sound and how it belongs to space.
So we have another player here trying to deploy the solar panel so we can get some sunlight and restore the power inside the station. This is just a shot from the pilot of the ship that is watching. And now we have the lights on the station working, that means the power is on.
So this is basically a deserted outpost. We're on the inside, and players just found something to loot, like rifle, I don't know, some magazines or whatever, or suits. And jetpack.
We worked hard on the actual movement in zero gravity, so you can actually move whatever way you want, but it is tested in place, so it's easy to maneuver, and also the areas are designed to support the zero gravity, so it doesn't matter if you're upside down, it just looks okay.
Yeah, the only thing that matters if you're outside in space without your jetpack, without your fuel, you're just going to drift and die. Until you live until your life support system is on, and then you will just die.
Now while the players were in the station, the sun went, actually they orbited around the planet, and the sun went behind the planet, and now it's rising on the other side. So this is actually one of the great examples because when you need to use your solar panels to power up your station, you actually have to have sunlight. So in this example, they were on the dark side at some point, so they didn't have enough sunlight. But luckily they got it early, so they had enough to get the lights inside the station. Again, they're back in the ship in the airlock and did the repressurization again. And because this is a survival game and a lot of stuff can happen, these two guys decided to actually kill the crew of the ship and take over the control. And that's about it for this video.
Okay, just an hour ago, maybe a little we just pressed the Steam button to publish. So our game and our website are now online. So I ask you to come and vote for us on Steam with green light, so we can get our game up and running. And thank you for your attention. If there's any question, I will, or Marco will be, yeah, please.
Okay, I have two questions.
Yes.
First one is, this game seems like a perfect example for using VR, especially because it seems like the player will be in space for a long time with a space helmet that kind of feels the same when wearing a VR set. So are you planning on implementing VR in this game? And also, second question is, you're focused on getting your physics right, getting realistic also with the sound. So that's definitely a science fiction genre. Are you maybe thinking of introducing some elements of science fantasy genre to this game?
First, I'm going to answer the VR question. We'll definitely try with VR. That's our goal. The biggest problem with VR is actually moving the character through the scene, and because this is a survival game, and the scene might become very chaotic at some point. They're running all around. We might try doing it, in some specific places. For example, when you're in a cockpit, that you can use a VR. That would be, a good thing. But definitely, the game supports the free look camera, so you can always turn your camera. Even now, by pressing Alt and rotating the mouse, you can turn your camera around, or actually your head around, without moving your body. So it supports that kind of head movement, but. The usual problem with the VR is that motion sickness when everything is moving at fast pace.
It's not that we didn't try. the good place where you can actually use VR is on a manned gun inside of the ship, or as Marco just told, at the pilot seat. This is actually where you can use VR, and we will try to implement that, but I'm not sure because of the other features of the game and that you are constantly moving that it's maybe possible to use it. But for those several features that your character is actually not moving and you're only moving your head, yes, it's a perfect thing. And you asked a question about the science. Yes. What we didn't told, maybe we should, everything that we did inside of the game is, it's of course, there is a fiction, but we try to put it as science as possible. So for example, our power supply system is a tokamak generator, a fusion generator. It's one that's now being built in the south of France. So, in order to get the generator to work, to get the power, you will need to collect a gas. How do you collect? You collect the gas by entering the lower orbit of the planet. If you survive, you will have enough fuel to power supply your ship or your station or whatever. Of course, solar panels and auxiliary batteries are just something that can come after that. The only thing that we didn't, we have to imagine is of course gravity. Because nobody knows what the gravity is. So we say, okay, we're going to have a microgravity and we're going to have a gravity on the ships, but a player will be most of the time in zero G. And that aspect of the game is where we try to be as accurate as it possible. As I told you when we started the presentation, we are all SFM. So moving the character in zero G with RCS or without RCS in atmosphere or in vacuum space. This is something that we already implemented in the game. So I'm calling you to come to our booth and try the game. We have a server running, and you can connect and play multiplayer. You can fly a ship or maybe be in the station, and you can try to do it. So it's no problem.
One more thing about that. You asked about the fantasy part, and we talked about it at the beginning. Implementing alien races and things like that, but. Like honestly, we want to make it as scientifically accurate as possible, and to actually get the differences in the design and functionality which you would have if you have, for example, different alien races. We here have different corporations that are building ships in different design, different ways. So you actually have a few of the corporations to not to choose from, but for example, find a ship for the different corporation made, and you have a different play style with that ship. The corporation that you saw in the trailer and the gameplay video is the Altair corporation. They're basically the mining corporation. They're mostly focused on mining and ships that don't look so good, but they're functional. That's all.
Any more question?
Yeah, I have a question actually. So what about end game content? Is there an end game?
Well, like in all survival games, there is no end game content, but we're experimenting with. We will experiment with some of the things, for example, landing on the planets at some point. But that's the feature that we want to work carefully on, because the planets are too big and there's just an empty space of surface, and we want to find the best way to get the gameplay when you land on the planet, so you have something to actually do there. Also, the story is the thing that we kind of consider as an end game feature, because you can. While playing the game, you can discover stuff and reveal the story, and that will actually give you some benefit if you follow the story through.
Yeah, I would just like to add, there is a lot of stuff you can do in game and never get bored. But we are also trying to do, this is something that is also, I think, important, the multiplayer aspect of the game. Basically, you are logging on the server, waking up, meeting people there, hanging out with them. And when you log off, your character, of course, stays on the server. If somebody finds you, he can kill you. You can always, when you log in, change the server and go and meet some other people, but only as your character. What we will try to do later on, when we develop the game more enough, we will try to implement the model, and I don't think that, actually I didn't play the game, that kind of approach was was done is that you will find a wreck ship, for example, big wreck ship inside of the game. Maybe you can manage by yourself, but there's no way. You have to find people and your friends that will together with you, get that ship online. With enough resources that you have to collect with those crew, you can actually transfer the entire crew, the assets, with the ship on some other server, and then so you have that, I would say, a real MMO moment in a game. You know, it's not just one server. I mean, it is one server, but basically you are connected with all other people that are playing on different servers at one point of time, of course. For now, it's just moving your characters to different servers, like most of the multiplayer game works. You know, so that's one of the concepts. It's not an end game, but you know, when you get bored of one system, which I don't know how it's going to happen because the system is huge. Unlike the other survival games that are basically flattened, you know, it's just a map. This is a 3D map, you know, and it's I think it's around 6 AU, so it's probably somewhere orbital of Jupiter. So it's a vast, vast space, and you know, there will always be something that you can do, you know, as a lone wolf. You know, you can discover the story and you know, role play the game, or you can, you know, just join with the people, a lot of people, and you know, like in all survivals. Of course, the main aspect is you need to survive, and that's the first thing. So you need your oxygen, you need your fuel, you need everything, you know, and the story comes later when you know, when you join with the people and meet with them and find the way you want to play the game. So that's the main goal. But you know, end game is it's a survival game. It's to survive. That's the end game. So. Okay, thank you very much for your attention. I would like to, you know, welcome you to our booth, where we have some presents, and we would really like to show you the game, and you try it a little bit, and you know, hang out with us. So, thank you.